Elora Prime was a jewel of the galaxy, a bustling trade hub where delegates, traders, and travelers from countless species mingled in harmony, or tried to. The massive station was an architectural marvel, its corridors glowing with bioluminescent lights that adjusted to the visual spectrums of its diverse inhabitants. Conversations in alien languages blended with the hum of machinery and the occasional chirp of automated attendants. It was a place of innovation, commerce, and cultural exchange, where the galaxy's finest minds showcased their ingenuity and heritage. In the midst of the chaos, a small booth stood out, not because of its technology or grandeur, but because of its simplicity. It was unassuming, constructed of polished steel and warm wood, with a smoker puffing clouds of rich, hickory-scented smoke. A hand-painted sign hung above it, proclaiming in bold, uneven letters, "Barbecue, the taste of Earth." Behind the counter, Ronan Holst wiped his hands on a grease-streaked apron, his face glowing with the combination of sweat and satisfaction that came from hours of tending his smoker. He was not a politician or a scientist, but a chef, a culinary ambassador sent by Earth to showcase one of humanity's oldest and most cherished traditions, barbecue. For hours, Ronan had watched as aliens passed by his booth, their curiosity piqued, but their hesitation evident. Among them was a tall insectoid being with a shimmering exoskeleton that caught the station's artificial light. Kelma, an envoy of the extran species, was known for its methodical approach to life. Everything the extran did was precise, efficient, and logical. As Kelma stopped in front of the booth, its multifaceted eyes fixated on the smoker, its antennae twitching in what Ronan recognized as skepticism. "Why do you burn meat?" Kelma asked, its voice clicking in sync with its mandibles. The question, though direct, carried an undertone of confusion and perhaps mild disgust. Ronan chuckled, used to this reaction by now. "We're not burning it. We're smoking it. Slow cooking it over wood to infuse flavor and tenderize the meat." Kelma tilted its head, its antennae moving in a slow, deliberate arc. "This method is inefficient. Nutritional sustenance can be synthesized far more precisely." "It's not just about efficiency," Ronan replied, gesturing toward the smoker with pride. "Barbecue is about tradition, patience, and the joy of creating something extraordinary from something simple. It's a connection to our past, a story told through fire and flavor." The extran's antennae twitched again, this time with a hint of curiosity. "I will observe first," Kelma said, stepping back slightly, but remaining close enough to watch. Ronan opened the smoker, releasing a plume of aromatic smoke that enveloped the booth and the nearby crowd. Inside lay a brisket, its crust glistening with a caramelized bark, the hallmark of a well-smoked cut of meat. He carefully lifted the brisket onto a cutting board and sliced into it, revealing layers of juicy, pink meat adorned with a perfect smoke ring. The scent that wafted from the meat was a harmonious blend of savory, smoky, and sweet, causing several passers-by to stop in their tracks. Kelma's antennae quivered, and its mandibles twitched. It was clear that the extran, despite its logical nature, was intrigued. "It smells complex," Kelma admitted, though its tone suggested reluctance. "Smells good, doesn't it?" Ronan said with a grin, slicing a small piece and placing it onto a plate. "Try it." "I promise it's better than it looks." Kelma hesitated, its spindly appendage reaching out to pick up the plate. The crowd around the booth had grown, a mix of species watching the interaction with interest. As the extran brought the brisket to its mandibles, the audience collectively held their breath. The first bite was tentative. Kelma froze mid-chew, its body shimmering with a faint green hue. A series of rapid clicks escaped its mandibles, a sound Ronan couldn't interpret but recognized as some kind of emotional response. "This," Kelma began, its voice trembling, "is transformative. The crust speaks of fire's raw power, yet the interior is tender, delicate. It is a dichotomy that defies logic. That's the magic of barbecue," Ronan said, folding his arms with a satisfied smile. "It's all about balance." Before Kelma could respond, a booming voice interrupted. "Gorith, A towering Zygar with a physique that resembled a walking mountain approached the booth. The Zygars were a warrior species known for their competitiveness and strength, and Gortha's every step seemed to shake the ground beneath him. "If it is transformative, then I, too, will try it," Gorth declared, his deep voice echoing through the hall as he slammed a massive fist onto the counter. The impact caused several plates to rattle and elicited a gasp from the crowd. Kelma bristled, its antennae flaring in what could only be described as indignation. You lack the refinement to appreciate such a nuanced culinary experience. Ronan stepped in quickly, sensing the tension between the two. "There's no need to fight. I've got enough for everyone." He sliced another piece of brisket and handed it to Gorth, who took it without hesitation. The Zygar devoured the brisket in a single bite, chewing slowly as the crowd watched in silence. For a moment, Gorth's expression was unreadable. Then his stony face softened, and his 4 eyes glistened with what Ronan could only interpret as tears. This meat," Gorth said, his voice trembling. "It is a conquest of flavor, a triumph over mediocrity." The crowd erupted into murmurs as word of the brisket spread like wildfire. Within minutes, a line stretched from Ronan's booth to the far end of the hall. Delegates from countless species queued up, each eager to experience the dish that had brought an extran and a Zygar to a rare moment of agreement. By the end of the day, Ronan was exhausted, his smoker nearly empty. Kelma and Gorth stood beside him, now united in their admiration for Earth's barbecue. "Your methods are illogical," Kelma said, its tone softened. "But the results cannot be denied. We must learn your techniques, and we must enhance them," Gorth added. "With proper tools and strength, your fire could rival the stars themselves." Ronan laughed, wiping his hands on his apron. "All right, I'll teach you both, but only if you promise to be patient. Barbecue isn't something you can rush." As the three of them began planning their next session, Ronan couldn't help but marvel at how a simple tradition from Earth had become a bridge between cultures. That night, as the lights of Allura Prime dimmed, the scent of hickory smoke lingered in the air, a reminder of how food, in all its simplicity, could bring even the most disparate beings together.